Hey, everybody. Appreciate the love last night on the chat.
Mayweather was saying the same thing. He went on Drake channel to talk about black people, the real Hebrews.
Y'all funny as hell. Hey, Rachel. I'm okay. I'm a little better from yesterday. Good fellas. Yeah, that's what's up for Summer Walker. What's up, Antoine? What makes you think I'm funny? LOL. Favorite R&B collaboration? Ooh. Probably Rick James and Tina Marie, Fire and Desire. There's so many on my head. What's good, Mark? Yeah, man. I love George Benson, especially when he was doing shit in the 70s and maybe early to mid 80s. So you'll be surprised what'll be coming up in this fucking channel. Um, might have to go with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince when they sampled Breezin. I want to say it was for the Home Base album. I want to say, yeah. Yeah, Ronnie. Usher and Monica's version of Slow Jam is a classic. Robert De Niro. So just to let y'all know, this Thursday I am going to do a watch party for the Versus battle, which means I might just push the Crunk Juice review probably to like 11:45. But I doubt the Shaka and Stephanie Mills is going to last a long time anyway. Favorite Al Green sample? Ooh. I got to think about that one. But on top of my head, it was a Ghostface song. Either Ghostface or Woo. But other than that, I do like when, believe it or not, I loved when Lil Wayne used Let's Stay Together for the Carter One. I think it was song Earthquake. And I'm not like the biggest Jazzy Faye fan like that, but he did his thing on that one. Damn, it was a Al Green sample. Oh, wait. Joel Ortiz when he used the Call Me sample. Y'all know what I'm my Joel Ortiz fans. Y'all should know what I'm talking about. That's somebody I might do a breakdown in the future one day. Cause I know the Ghostface is gonna be on Black Friday. I was thinking about doing that midnight on Black Friday, probably after I don't know, but stay tuned. I might do Aerosmith the week after. Cause I want to end off with some good hip hop breakdowns or some shit too. Favorite R&B and hip hop collaboration. That's another good one. I'm gonna say one that no one really mentions. Guy and Heavy D, Do Me Right. Matter of fact, anytime Heavy D collaborates with R&B cat, I do fuck with. So you said the vinyl album that you played, Breezin. Okay. Surprisingly, I'm not the biggest Herbie Hancock fan, so I never heard that album. Stretching Out, definitely classic. Nat King Cole, just one of those days, just one of those things. What year did that Nat King Cole album come out, Antoine? Oh, the New Agenda, Janet and Chuck D. That's a good one too. Never thought I would hear Chuck D and Janet on a song, but Jody Watley and Rakim, friends. I don't really like to buy a lot of things. I only go to Black Friday if it's like really necessary, but I'm trying to save up some bread right now. Just trying to get some moves out the way. Who is the best member of Slaughterhouse? Crooked Eye. Yeah, Nights in Harlem with Guru, with Luther and Guru. That's a one you rarely hear people talk about. So Cruz, just to let everybody know, the Silk Sonic review is going to be Tuesday, and after the Silk Sonic, I'm going to do like a top five worst R&B albums of the '80s. So, because we've been talking a lot about '80s R&B, so I was like, you know what, let's just
What's
set the
good?
bar. What's good?
What up?
Not much. Just telling these niggas about the R&B albums list and shit.
My list is ready, so I thought we was doing it tonight.
Now I said with the Silk Sonic,
Okay. Well,
since the Silk Sonic has like an '80s
it's
R&B sound
it's
already,
it's
so
really not that hard because '80s R&B wasn't that great, except for like certain artists. So
yeah.
yeah, it was very easy.
Yeah, man. I know there's like I have to listen to a few tonight because I actually want to back up why I feel like it's bad because I don't want to just say oh the singles because motherfuckers always like oh the singles were bad
Right.
nothing like that. I was like nah nigga I'll surprisingly I'll listen to the album and shit.
What's good? Knee
But
boy, what up?
my list is gonna be surprised. That's all I'm gonna say.
Of course it is, cause you know how you do.
A lot of your favorites, man. You're
A
not.
lot of a lot of my favorites
Yeah.
from New Edition is gonna be on that list.
Hell no.
Okay, so the Michael Jackson, Prince, are they gonna be on the list?
Nah, you know damn well those two ran in the '80s. I'm
Okay.
talking about like Aretha
Well,
Franklin, Who Zoom and Who album.
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, I thought you heard. I heard.
Nah, I heard the one that Luther did for her, the Jump album.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one. What up?
I could have sworn you like that album.
No,
Never mind, man.
I know the song, but I didn't hear the album though.
Okay, well I'll just keep it a
You know what I'm
secret then.
saying? Yeah, 'cause I'm like it's not none of my favorites.
But
you know.
Hmm. Rank the three labels: Solar, Motown, and Philly. Oh, that's easy. Actually, that's not easy. Scratch that.
It's not easy.
Motown, Solar, then Philly.
Yeah, you had R. Kelly and Jay Z, hip hop, R&B. There's your
Trash.
answer. Best of both worlds. I loved it.
We still got to talk about that one too.
Great album.
Yeah, okay.
I like the first one. I didn't care for the second one, but definitely a great album to me.
Yeah, John B. Someone to Love or They Don't Know. Oh, damn. My go with They Don't Know, but
Favorite Usher collab. Him and Alicia Keys. Love that one.
him and Jadakiss.
Of course.
Oh, oh.
Oh Lord.
Um, okay, I can't wait for this Thursday though.
Yeah. What's this Thursday again?
Well, it's Chaka and Stephanie Mills.
Oh
Very
yes.
cool. And
I
I'm
thought
gonna
we
go. You said what?
I thought we was doing something that day.
I was telling him I want to push Crunk Juice to like 11:45 and shit.
Okay, no doubt.
Sean, my nigga, what's good?
That's good.
Damn, a lot of jazz heads coming up here. Okay,
And people love jazz, man.
I was surprised a lot of people love this album though,
Why?
because
Why
a
are you
lot of
surprised?
like jazz heads they kind of have their criticism with this album, which we'll talk about.
I think it's a dope album.
Oh yeah, most
Spoiler
definitely.
alert.
Yeah, man, most definitely it's a dope album.
Yeah.
But let's not waste no time and shit. Matter of fact, let me set the mood right. Since it's
Please,
jazz review, I can put the lights off, light an
please do.
incense.
Please do.
But what's up, you two? How's everyone doing this lovely Sunday night? The best night to watch us. It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
And tonight is going to be our second jazz review. And what better way than one of the best selling jazz albums, George Benson Breezin. This came out in 1976. I want to say on Capitol Records. Let me double check. Oh, Warner Brothers, excuse me. It came out with two singles. I want to say Breezin and this Masquerade. It was produced by Tommy LaPuma, who Tommy LaPuma is a very famous producer. He worked with cats like George Benson, the great Miles Davis,
Mm-hmm.
the stellar Barbara Streisand, the late great Al Jarreau. He did like a lot of shit, like one of the top goats when it comes to jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
The personnel, the additional musicians, besides George Benson, you had Jorge Dalto on acoustic piano, clavinet, acoustic piano solo, Ronnie Foster on electric piano, mini move synthesizer, um, Phil Upchurch on rhythm guitar and bass, Stanley Banks on bass, Harvey Mason on drums, Ross McDonald on percussion, and Klaus Ogerman on arrangements and conductor. All right, George Benson, one of the all-time greats. You know what I'm saying? Smooth brother. How did you get into George Benson?
Again, growing up in a house full of records and different sounds, and my mom is a huge jazz, head, and there was a lot of jazz being played, you know, a lot of George Benson, and you know, on a Sunday afternoon, like at any given time, you can hear a George Benson album being played at my crib, while you know, my grandparents were cooking or my mom was cleaning the crib, or you know, it was just like easy listening music on a Sunday. When you think Sunday afternoons, I think smooth jazz. CD 101.9. That was a big station at the time over here in New York, and a lot of jazz was being played, and he was one of those artists, and um, just over the years, just being like into hip hop and seeing how so many artists sample this man's music, you know what I'm saying, and not realizing it at that time, but then going back and hearing a lot of his songs and like, oh, I know this sample from this Mob Deep song, or I know this sample from this Heavy D song, and um, he's definitely one of the best, and um, I like, well, one of my favorite collabs was like with him and Mary J. Blige,
Oh
on
yeah,
when they did the 7 Days track from was that the Share My World album, I believe it was.
yeah.
And that's always been my favorite track off of that album, and I like the fact that our culture could continue to celebrate an artist like this that's been you know relevant through many decades, and able to give him his flowers while he's still here, and it's you know uh, there's definitely it's definitely like it puts you in the mood when you hear these songs and these albums from him, and jazz artists like that, and I've always been a fan of his work. So, and just even listening to this album, like I think it might have been almost every song on here that was sampled by somebody,
I'm
and
saying, oof,
you know what I'm saying. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this joint, and man, the man is talented. You know what I'm saying. And I've always loved guitar. I took guitar lessons when I was like 10, 11 years old, and because that was always like one of my favorite instruments, and you know seeing people like him play the guitar, it just puts you in the mood. So um, that was basically my introduction there. Just like my just having my mom being a huge jazz fan and knowing who he was at an early age.
definitely, definitely. Okay, I want to give a quick shout out to my homeboy, Carl and stuff like that, because he loves his channel too. So just give him a quick shout out.
All right, shout out to him.
What's good, Mike's Movie Corners and Rants. What's good with you?
Salute.
I never seen you here, but welcome to the chat
He
channel.
was on here before.
He was
Yeah, last week. I
okay.
forgot what review we did. He was here.
Okay. Well, listen, Mike. If you want to, let's post one of your videos on the chat. We'll most definitely love to check it out and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying. That goes for Rayshawn too. Shout out to
yeah.
Rayshawn as well.
Post your stuff on, man. Like we gotta support our own community content. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because if we don't support our own people, who gonna support us?
Exactly.
You know?
And I would most definitely watch your shit, and
Yeah.
you know me. So
Facts.
George Benson. I'm not even gonna lie. I got into George Benson with Breezin, of course.
Right.
It was definitely a nice little jazzy song and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I think next to Duke Ellington in a Sentimental Mood,
Right.
this is probably like one of my introductions to jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people might think, oh, Miles Davis, because I talk about him a lot. Nah,
Right.
Miles didn't really come until much later
Right.
and shit. So, and when I think about George Benson and stuff like that, he's definitely one of those cats that I feel like should get his just due
Uh-huh.
when it comes to like the formation of jazz fusion
Right.
and whatnot. Like, yeah, Herbie Hancock, he
Mm-hmm.
gets his clout, but like George Benson kind of made jazz accessible for like a lot of the R&B cats, and I feel like that also what got him criticized a lot too.
Right.
And a lot of people like when it came to like jazz in the late '70s and the '80s,
Mm-hmm.
it was really walking hand in hand with R&B music. Like you had cats like Roy Ayers,
Mm-hmm.
Randy Crawford, very underrated jazz artists, by the way.
Right.
They're doing their fucking thing, and most of the time, they would have like a little R&B. Like for example, George Benson's "Give Me the Night" is a perfect
I have
example.
that album.
Yeah,
Yes. That
look,
that that really that was my first introduction to him. Like the Give Me the
yeah,
Night album. You know.
love that album.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of jazz purists that say he was selling out with that.
Um.
Not,
I I think you could say the same for Herbie when he came out with
yeah,
the '80s.
don't even get me started
Um.
on Herbie.
That was like my introduction to Herbie as well. Like he went a little bit too mainstream in the '80s,
Right.
and it wasn't the same after that. You know what I'm saying? So I
Roy
understand that.
Ayers.
Yeah.
Roy
Well, he
Ayers
is
is
right.
another perfect example too, because
Right.
after like that '79 album, and I used to have that album, I gave it away because I didn't really care for
Right.
it too much.
Right.
He went kind of, I'm just gonna say he went R&B
Mm.
because I like the Roy Ayers most like late '60s, '70s, and shit
Right.
like that.
Right.
All right, okay, but yeah, but then George Benson. I love You remember that show, The Midnight Special?
Yes.
Yeah, he did a dope performance with Ben Morrison of the song Moon Dance with like Dr. John, Carlos Santana,
Mm-hmm.
Etta James, and a lot of cat. It was like that's another one of mine that maybe respect him more and shit like that.
Right.
And dope guitarist too.
Right.
One
Mm-hmm.
of the illest guitarists,
Yeah.
not just in jazz but in music history.
Right.
Let's just be real. So
Mm-hmm.
George Benson, where do I begin with him? He is a singer that was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He actually got his start, very young and whatnot. He used to play the ukulele in a drugstore, and so when he was 9 years old, he started recording music
Right.
and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He was known as Little Georgie, and pretty much You said what?
Nah, listen.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was, but yeah, he was doing like music, getting into showbiz, but at the same time, he was still in school
Right,
and whatnot. And then when he graduated from high school, he learned how to like do like instrumental jazz because he was working so hard with Jack McDuff.
right,
And so his first album at 21 didn't come. I want to say that was came out in 1964, called "The New Boss Guitar of George Benson." Now I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I didn't really hear too many of his '60s albums, so I'm just gonna be
right.
like breeze right through them and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So he did the Uptown. It's Uptown with the George Benson Quartet. They had Lonnie Smith on organ, Ronnie Cuba on baritone saxophone. He did some work with Miles Davis.
Right,
6 Degrees of Miles.
right.
On the classic Miles in the Sky album from '68.
Mm-hmm.
That was like right before the electric period, like on the edge of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, excuse me. He signed over to CTI Records, where he dropped his '74 album Bad Benson, which
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a couple of songs from it. It was pretty solid
Right,
and whatnot.
right,
He did a version of Abbey Road by the Beatles, and he called it The Other Side of Abbey Road,
right,
which I never heard that album and shit. So that's definitely interesting and shit. So he signed to Warner Brothers Records in the 1970s, and Warner Brothers at that time was like really, it was really hot at that time because you had Shaka Khan and Rufus, you
yeah,
had Doobie Brothers, you had it was like a good variety of R&B and rock.
right,
Mind you, this was before Prince and shit, so
right,
just letting y'all know. So he signed, and then the rest is history because he actually got him like more marketable and shit like that.
right,
And so that's when he pretty much dropped the Breezin album, and this album just got him. It was when this album first came out, it was literally one of the most successful jazz albums of all time.
right,
At that time, next to King Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. Anyway, because it was, I think, one of the first albums from jazz to really top pop jazz and R&B charts and
yeah,
whatnot too. Because like I said, Warner at that time Warner Brothers had like a more stronger marketing
right,
and shit too. And when it came to like fucking jazz music in '76, a lot of the critics were saying, "Oh, jazz was pretty much dead by '76." But then when George Benson came out, it kind of like revitalized that shit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, by the way, I forgot to mention when somebody asked me favorite song George Benson single.
Mm-hmm.
"Time to Chill" was actually from the "He's a DJ, I'm the Rapper" album, not from Home Base and shit.
Right,
So yeah, man. Not a long album, only about 6 songs. So let's get this shit started.
yeah.
Track number one, Breezin'. Do 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 do. Very catchy, very melodic tune. But a lot of cats would be surprised that he was not the originator of this song. And the originator
Mm.
of the song was an R&B giant that he pretty much married his mentor's wife. I don't even have to say the name, just the first name you think of.
An R&B giant that married his mentor's wife.
Yeah, when he died, when his mentor died, he married his wife,
Who the hell is that?
Bobby Womack.
Oh, Bobby Womack.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
The yikes. So Bobby Womack did this song back in 1970
Mm.
with this Hungarian jazz guitarist named Gabar Zabo. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but fuck it. And so that came out in Zabo's High Contrast album, and then 5 years later, it was pretty much revitalized by George Benson. And mind you, Bobby Womack was also on Warner Brothers at that time too. So
Right.
yeah, man. Pretty much, I've heard the George Benson version, and I pretty much that version was good though. I liked it, but no, not the George, the Bobby Womack version
Oh.
that was good. It had like a more of like an R&B, strictly jazz, but this one, the George Benson, it had like add touches of like Latin pop, the melodic pop and stuff like
Right,
that. It can appeal. It's more appealable,
right.
and that's one thing I liked about the George Benson version and shit like that. So classic, classic, classic song. This one and the next song we're going to talk about might be his signature tracks. Actually, next to "Give Me the Night" too.
Yeah, this was a great song to start off. It's really smooth, really melodic. You know, nice beat, nice bass line. The guitar is really um a dope guitar play by George, and also I seen Ronnie said a Dog Pound sample it. Also Tupac sample this um for my niggas unreleased Machiavelli track, and he's like that's the song that he's like dissing the Brat, dissing that was Tupac and Storm from the Outlaws, and they like dissing. He took shots at the Brat, and I think Little Kimmy took shots at also, but yeah, he sampled that. Yeah, like I said, like it was a great track. Definitely there's a lot of people that sampled it, and I loved it.
Definitely, yeah, man. And I just got some good news about my thesis, which I'm kind of happy about, but
Yeah.
we'll accept it for right now. Okay, now, now, this Masquerade, my favorite George Benson song. Period. Right. This is a joint that you play when you really want to put in some work with your female and shit like that.
Right.
Um, this is one of the inspirations why I want to name the clothing brand the Masquerade too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Originally, this again, he originally it was recorded by Leon Russell, and for his album Carney, and it
Yeah.
was a B side to. Oh, you know who Leon Russell is?
I've heard it from you.
Okay, and it was a B side to his hit single Tightrope. It was later on covered by Helen Reddy from her album I Am Woman and shit like that. Then it was also covered by the Carpenters and shit like that. It was a B side to their single Please Mr. Postman.
Right.
Never knew the Carpenters did this joint. But knowing Karen Carpenter's voice, man, that might give you chills and shit. Yeah, man. But again, George fucking Benson, did his thing with this one. This is like the most recognizable song. That beat
Mm-hmm.
is so ill and mysterious, like duh, 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 very mysterious kind
Mm-hmm.
of beat. I love it.
Yes.
Um, what I got from this song is just like the end of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Very very dope track. I loved anytime he performed this track too. You know what I'm saying? Um, you said DMX sampled this track for. Oh yeah, he did for
Mm.
"I Miss You."
Right.
Okay. Domino also sampled this for Ghetto
Yes.
Jam.
Ghetto
Really?
Jam. Yeah, the piano part. Ding, ding. That joint.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, I never, I so many times I've heard that. I never noticed that,
Mm-hmm.
but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
Yep.
y'all educating me tonight. I like this. Y'all
That's what we here
educating me
for.
tonight and shit. I
That's
like
what we
this.
here for.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. But this Masquerade also got him a few awards too. You know what I'm saying? It was before I get into that, it was actually his first single, to chart in the U.S. and stuff like that too. It won him a Grammy Award for Record of the Year, and it was also nominated for Song of the Year for Best Pop Vocal Performance. Which you know what
Right.
we gotta do? Gotta find
Uh-huh.
out who won that.
Right. Exactly.
Other than that, I love it. It's my favorite song by George Benson, and he lost by Stevie Wonder's "Songs in the Key of Life" album,
Right.
so I
Hey,
can't get mad about that.
a much better album. So, you know.
much, yeah, much better. And George Benson was on that album too, so
Right. Right.
yeah, people forget too. But
That's dope.
that's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's a great song. Like like we mentioned, like so many people sample that piano part, and that was great, and a nice beat. You know what I'm saying? Nice pianos, a good guitar. Definitely one of my favorites on this album.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. After that, we're gonna get into 6 to 4. which is like a very instrumental track. Definitely showcase George Benson guitar playing and stuff like that. Fucking love it.
This is dope. This is definitely nice instrumental. Not one of my favorites on here, but it was good.
Yeah, I hear your point. It's not only one of my favorite instrumentals either.
Right.
Now we're gonna get into affirma- aff- um, affirmation.
Affirmation.
Affirmation. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was originally by Jose Feliciano, Hispanic rock artist, folk artist, very dope. He's best known for his cover of The Doors' "Light My Fire,"
Hmm.
a classic cover. Not touching the original though, because nothing touches The Doors, in my opinion. But that even Jim Morrison said that's actually his favorite cover of all time too. So
Mm.
yeah, man. And so George Benson did this song as well too. Very, very, very dope track. And again, this was highly regarded as one of his greatest hits too by a lot of people.
Right.
Timeless track.
Nice bass line. Love the bass line on that. The beat. The guitar played. It's definitely a banger. Like that's easy listening, and yeah, definitely one of my favorites on this album. And this was dope. I don't remember if anybody sampled this one. I was trying to think if anybody sampled this one.
Hold on. I think somebody did say it. While I find that, I'll just go to the next track.
Yeah.
So this is Love. Very good track.
Hmm.
Track that definitely utilized a lot of strings, a lot of very technical, melodic yet complex arrangements was on
Right.
this one and stuff like that. Yeah, and I feel like this one again was sampled by a lot of people, but I can't remember who exactly.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Nick Caution and Joey Badass sampled it for World in Your Pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
But yeah, so this is Love actually my third favorite track off this album.
Yeah. This is real melodic. Had real melodic vibes to it. Really smooth track. Love the beat and the guitars. Yeah. This is dope.
Definitely dope. And the last track off this album is Lady. Yeah, this was a nice track to end off this album, you know what I'm saying? Again, a very smooth melodic song. Something very much needed and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Love it.
This was a great track to end the album off. Not love the bass line again, and the beat was dope. Yeah, this definitely one of my favorites as well on this album. This is good.
Yeah. All right. Overall, this is a very good album. It is a jazz classic. It is an R&B classic. It's just a very dope album, period. This is the album that pretty much began the second life of George Benson, in my opinion, and stuff like that. Very complex romantic album. You know what I'm saying? You hear the feel good of Breezin, and then you hear the mysteriousness. What the hell am I talking about? You hear like the distinctive mystery of the Masquerade,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden you just hear the elegant beauty of So This Is Love and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As a jazz album, this is definitely my top 10.
Right.
Still in print to this day, and it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is his best-selling album. Either this one or the 1980 album.
Now is this the OG cover? Cause I'm seeing like there's the OG cover and it looks like this, and then there's like a brighter version.
This is
Like
the
it's
OG
like
cover.
this is the OG cover. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, sir. So yeah, man. This whole album. I mean, I don't even have to mention it's a five mic album and shit like that. Oh, and it was also it won awards for best pop instrumental performance for Benson and best engineered album non-classical for Al Schmidt.
Wow.
It was nominated for album of the year, but again, we have to see
Stevie
who it
Wonder.
lost.
Yeah.
Probably Stevie Wonder.
Stevie was big.
Yep, Stevie Wonder. I don't even know why I even had to check that. I'm some real shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, five mic album, man.
A great album. Like this, like I said, like this would be great if you're like, you want something to throw on and hear like some easy listening music, and on a Sunday afternoon, or a rainy day, and tracks like Lady, and so this is Love, and Breezin, the title track, and this Masquerade. Those are like my favorites, and definitely a great jazz album, and it's a short jazz album too, so it's gonna go by pretty quickly, once you throw it on, and like the bluesy guitar played by George, and the bass lines and the pianos. They're definitely a all around great instrumentation album, and I enjoyed it. Definitely 5 mics for me.
Yeah, man. I didn't expect to finish this review so quick though, but
Right.
I could probably stay on to maybe about 12:20 ish. Um, favorite Mariah Carey sample that favorite Mariah Carey sample that she sampled.
Favorite Mariah Carey sample that she sampled? Are you even saying that right, Q?
Do you mean favorite song that she sampled? Yeah, I don't want to say what.
Oh God! I told you this dude need lights, man. We got to send him some light bulbs.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to do like a top five best R&B albums of the '80s? Just
Yeah, we
freestyle
could
that
do that.
shit.
We could do that.
Uh,
I could
okay.
do that now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I was
Favorite?
just like,
Is he talking about favorite Mariah song that she sampled? That's what she. That's what he's talking about. I think that's
that's
what
what
he's
I
talking
think. I know that's what I think he's trying to say. Yeah, yeah. He said yes. Okay.
about.
Um, favorite song that she sampled.
The
I like the
what's the
one where
that's
she
the
sampled.
name of I forgot the name of the song that she sampled for Honey.
Oh, Tom Tom Club, Genius of Love.
That joint. Love that joint.
Yeah. Wait, he said Honey.
Yeah, the Honey
Dun,
joint.
dun, 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 dun. No, that was not Genius. That was Fantasy. I'm tripping. I got you. I was
Fantasy
gonna
was the
say.
tone.
I was gonna say. The one where she sampled the same sample with Crush on You. I like
Mm.
that one. Believe it or not.
For the Caution album,
Yeah.
did you like that album?
It was
It
okay.
was
It
okay.
didn't. I didn't like everything, but it
Yeah,
was better than most. I'm gonna
and
be real.
she had one ballad on that album. Like that was like the last song on there.
Yeah. World famous Supreme Team. Hey DJ. That was a track.
Hey DJ, yes, that was the name of. I forgot the name of that joint.
Yeah, because AZ
Hey
sampled that
DJ,
track too. But
right, right. AZ sampler for AZ.
hey
Yeah,
AZ, what you coming?
or SWV. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
dope.
Alright. My favorite R&B album of the '80s, man.
How many we picking? 5.
We can do five. We can just freestyle and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a freestyle, I guess.
Um, well, I gotta throw Luther Vandross. Uh, never too much. Classic album.
Okay.
Definitely enjoyed that one. That I have a Luther album on my list for worst, but um, the first one is definitely a classic to me. This is
Yeah.
before he was fat Luther, so
I swear to God, y'all be
you know.
killing me with this fat pizza. Alright. I'm gonna go with Sade's Diamond Life for my number five.
That's a great album.
Yeah.
Definitely a great album.
This is one where you had the smooth operator, Love is
Hmm.
King.
Right.
I even call this album sometimes like the early stepping stones of neo soul in a weird way
Right. Right.
and shit like that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was a great album. Definitely enjoyed that. Um, what would be my number 4? Number 4 gotta be DeBarge in a special way. That's my favorite DeBarge album. And I know we talked about that. When was that last year? We talked about that.
Yes, sir.
There's so many classics. Stay with me, and time will reveal. Love me in a special way. Like man, like that to me is like still one like to me their best album. Like all this love was great. I love that one as well. But I think in a special way it was just. I think the bunny solo for me at the end was like That was great. Definitely a great album.
Okay. Let me see. This might be a surprise, but you know
Hmm.
what? I'm gonna go with Guy's self-titled album.
Okay.
This is one I feel like it was probably the album that took New Jack Swing
Hmm.
to new heights, in my opinion.
Right.
Feel like it definitely showed Teddy Riley improving himself. Like his earlier productions he was doing at that time, like with Como D,
Right.
definitely had like a more rawer edge, but this one he kind of like smoothed it out. Piece of My Love,
Hmm.
I like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Groove Me Alone. My
Crazy.
God, it's pretty much maybe my favorite track off that whole album and shit like that.
Crazy.
I mean, the future is gonna be it's always my favorite Guy album, but the debut to this day, timeless. We might have to do a double review one day on their first two albums and
Yes,
shit.
definitely.
Gotta get Ash on that too.
The future anniversary was yesterday for that album.
Oh wow,
You know what I mean? The
yeah,
second one, it's like definitely underrated to me.
yeah.
I
Guy
heard
three,
I heard the third one and I had some issues with that.
that's a trash review. So
Uh,
yeah,
I had some issues with that
I
one.
already know that the third one should have never had like Teddy Riley after '98 is an issue to me. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened, but
I
he was just
agree.
doing like a lot after Janet Jackson's I Get Lonely. Something happened.
hmm
I don't know what happened,
He
but
fell off. He got too cocky.
he
You
started
know.
breaking up all his groups and shit.
He has two legend. I mean, I don't know too many people that had two legendary groups, and they both like broken up. Like from any, well, I don't want to say any genre. 'Cause I do know like some rock artists from other groups, but as far as like R&B, I don't know too many people that went from like one legendary group to another and they both broke up. You know what I'm saying? And I think the common denominator is Teddy Riley. I always said that. I felt like I mean, Aaron Hall had his issues, and Blackstreet, Chauncey, and a lot of the other members had their issues, and they had issues with the one person that was the common denominator. That was Teddy Riley. When you look at Blackstreet, a lot of their members said he wasn't paying them. They were doing shit for free. There was a lot of nonsense going on with that group. Him and Chauncey. There was stuff going on with them, with Guy. Aaron Hall and him wasn't getting along. Aaron Hall had his issues as well. But these are both Teddy Riley groups, and for him to have two legendary groups like that broken up, I think he's the main factor in both of those groups. You know,
It was a lot of factors to be real with you.
right?
Like I feel like people stopped caring for Blackstreet when just they were becoming like the '90s version of the Temptations. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
Because every album was like a new lineup. I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Real Reality Gossip. They were doing a breakdown about what happened to Blackstreet. I was like, I didn't know there was so many fucking members. I'm like, god damn. But no lie, my
Man,
favorite lineup would always be the debut album lineup.
right.
But my favorite album is Another Level. That's crazy.
I love the first two. I think the first two was their best. The
Yeah.
subtitle one, and then Another Level, and that was it. Finally, I remember some joints, not all of them. It's been years since I heard that, but it wasn't as great as the first two.
Too much shit going on in that album.
Yeah,
That was
and yeah, they had just like God. They had two good albums, and that was it. The third one came, and it was forgettable. You know.
yeah, that's some guy self-titled album.
Yeah. Um, number what we at? Number three.
Yes, sir.
Number three for me, like from this group, I could have picked more than one from the '80s for them because I do feel like they have multiple classics, and uh, when you look back at like now, I feel like in this era, people only know them from one album, but I feel like they have multiple classics. But instead of going with the first one, I went with like the masterpiece from them, and that's New Edition, Any Heartbreak from '88. I think that is their Illmatic album, and like I said, like to me, their first two were great. They were classics. All for Love was dope. Unfortunately, that people slept on that because Bobby Brown left for that album. But Any Heartbreak when they got Johnny Gill in the mix, and I think that's a great album. And still to me, like, "Can You Stand the Rain" is like their signature song now. Before it used to be "Candy Girl" or "Mr. Telephone
Right.
Man." Now it's "Can
Fans
You
grew
Stand the
up.
Rain." Yeah, and just having Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they were probably like the best producers of the '80s and for R&B, and the stuff that they did for Janet and for Annie and so many others. I think without them, that wouldn't have been a classic album. And any of those songs could have been a hit single. When you look at songs like "Crucial" or "Not My Kind of Girl" or "Where It All Started," any of those songs could have been hits, and they picked the right hits for those the right singles for that album. And adding Johnny was great, and yeah, that's definitely their best album to me.
Yeah, very good choice indeed. Um, my number three, and I knew you were gonna pick Any Heartbreak too.
I was gonna pick Candy Girl, and then I was like, well, to me, Any Heartbreak is like the Illmatic of their discography. But
True.
Candy Girl to me is a classic as well. You know what I'm saying? So many great hits came off of that album.
Right. I'm gonna go with Midnight Stars, No Parking on the Dance Floor.
Right.
Yeah, this one right here. I never hear a lot of people talk about this one. Very funky album, very like some electro funk kind of shit. Wet My Whistle. I love that track. Freakazoid, the original version from Slow Jams was on this album. Yeah, this was a very enjoyable album and stuff like that. Timeless album, very underrated. I never hear no one talk about this album.
Number two for me is gonna be Janet Control. Uh, it's just a great album. Again, like without Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis giving her that Minnesota sound, coming off of her first two terrible albums. Again, I don't know too many artists that can bounce back and become like an icon after their first two albums flop. You know what I'm saying? Because like if that was now in this era, if Janet came out now in this era and she came out with the first album and then Dream Street, I think she would have been a flash in the pan. She would have been ignored. But for her to bounce back with her third album and have a new sound and get new producers to overlook that, basically a whole career after that, and they made her who she is now as far as music. Like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis get all the credit for that, and they crafted a masterpiece with that album, and her songs were everywhere. Little kids were singing her songs. They knew all the lyrics, Control, and they knew what it meant. What Have You Done For Me Lately, Nasty. Every song on that album was a hit single. You know what I'm saying? And that is a masterpiece. Like, still one of her best albums to me. I mean, she's another artist that has multiple classics. But like, I feel like when you talk about Janet albums, you got to include Control, because Control is what made her who she is now. It wasn't Janet or Velvet Rope. Those came after. Like, Control is what really set it off for as a music artist, and that's always been one of my favorite albums.
Good choice indeed. I'm gonna go with Anita Baker's Rapture.
Great album.
Very great album. This was her second album, her first major label debut, as I should say. This
Hmm.
is an R&B classic where it was just Anita professing her soul, with fucking been so long.
Right.
Sweet Love, Caught Up in the Rapture, just a fucking timeless album. Even the album cover alone just gives you
Hmm.
that Quiet Storm kind of feeling out of it, stuff like that. So
Right.
Anita Baker's Rapture is definitely the second favorite.
Number one, I'm going with Janet's brother. I gotta go with Thriller. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my introduction to music. That was my introduction to Michael, and my introduction to what a video was at that time, because music videos were still new, and him being able to make a video like Beat It and tell a whole story in that video, and the dancing, the choreography was just out of this world, and he was just in a different lane. Like, Michael is the GOAT. of all goats. Like that is music to me. And I remember being in like kindergarten, and every Friday morning we would play musical chairs, and my teacher would have she would have like a stack of vinyl that she would play when we play musical chairs, and I would always run up to her and tell her like, yo, like you gotta play Thriller, you gotta play Purple Rain. I had like a heavy rotation at 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think a lot of kids even knew what heavy rotation was. Like your basically your favorite albums that you playing the most. And it was Thriller, it was Purple Rain, it was Candy Girl, it was Cyndi Lauper, her first album. I had many different heavy rotation, but Thriller was always on top because it was just Michael was like somebody like I didn't never see nobody like that before ever. You know what I'm saying? Like the effect that he had on the whole world, and having, just being able to stand on stage for like 10 minutes and not say nothing and not move, and people go crazy and they would pass out at his shows, and it was just crazy. His dance steps was just like it was just crazy. Like everything about Michael, he definitely lived up to the hype, and that was just him as a solo artist. Not even the stuff he did as a little kid with the Jacksons, but um, Thriller to me will always be my favorite album on time. And it wasn't like he managed to cross different genres and still make it sound dope. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't just R&B, it was pop and it was rock and it was, you know what I'm saying? He crossed different genres and still make it sound dope at the same time. When the other artists would, cross one genre and they make it sound whack. Like, what are you doing, Usher? Why are you doing this EDM shit? What are you doing, Vanilla Ice? Why are you doing this, grunge shit? That's not you. You know what I'm saying? So, Michael could cross any genre and still make it sound dope. And um, I gotta put Thriller on top, man. That's the album for me.
Okay. Now, I love Thriller. I definitely love Thriller, and I definitely hold it as high regard. But surprisingly, I'm gonna go with another Jackson's album,
Okay.
Triumph, for my number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope.
Now,
I was about to say I know you don't like Jermaine, so it can't be Jermaine. It can't be Jermaine.
I was gonna play a joke on y'all and say that, but I was like, you
Oh
know
my
what?
god! I'm like, what?
I was like, you
Which
know what?
Jermaine album would you pick?
As a joke, I was gonna say let's get serious, but I was like,
Okay.
you know what? Triumph just hit me, and here's the reason why, though.
Mm.
Sound wise, I've always felt Triumph. Michael was definitely, and I always talked this with my homeboy. He was definitely trying out his sound on Thriller with the Triumph album
Right.
with the Jacksons and shit.
Mm.
Because if you notice, he started like writing a lot more songs on that Jackson's album too and shit.
Right.
Lovely One, Everybody, Heartbreak Hotel.
Love
That
that
could have
song.
easily been a precursor to Thriller itself, in my
Definitely.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I loved about Triumph, and it's actually my favorite Jackson's album too, believe it or not,
Mm.
it was the Jacksons at the apex of their sound. Like
Right.
Destiny, they achieved their artistic vision of finally having creative control over their music. But Triumph was just them really getting really funky and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. It was definitely, in my opinion, a very adventurous album, very influenced by Earth, Wind, and Fire too.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like what Earth, Wind, and Fire was trying to do on Faces, and this might be a controversial, but the Jacksons did on Triumph.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm gonna go with Triumph as my number one.
Are we giving our honorable mentions, or that's for like another?
Yeah, we can do I don't mention.
Well, I gotta put the time. What time is it? That's
Oh,
always been one of my favorite time albums. I know a lot of people love Ice Cream Castle. That was great, but that the time. What time is it, man? Like that to me was just a great great production, and great songs. Gigolos Get Lonely too. Love that song in 7779311. My favorite track on there, The Walk. Just a great album, and Morris Day was a character. He had his own personality, and they were a great band. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of Minnesota's sound in the '80s, and the time was great. That's definitely my favorite time album. So yeah, that would be like one of my honorable mentions.
Okay. Surprisingly, I'm gonna go with Simply Red's Picture Book, their debut album.
Dope.
Yeah, this is a group that I've always Mick definitely because they're
Mm,
like 9 Inch Nails. They always have members going in and out and shit like that. So,
right,
but this is a group I've always held to high regard. But surprisingly, I never heard that album until probably about 2 years ago,
right.
and it was a very, very, very good album. I thought it was gonna be one of those albums that oh damn, I'll probably just like 3 songs or whatever. But
Mm,
I love fucking Come to My. It started off great with Come to My Aid,
right.
and then you had even David Byrne from the great Talking Heads
Mm,
made a songwriter with Heaven.
right.
Money's Too Tight. Don't even get me started. But then, of course, Holding Back the Years.
Love that song.
Love that fucking song, man. Like
Hmm.
my favorite song by that group. Period.
Same.
A lot of artists are trying to cover it, but
It's not the same.
it's not the same.
Nah, it's not the same like how they did it.
The close Ozzy Brothers was very close with on the Mission to Please album. I'll
Hmm.
give them that, but
Yeah.
something about how Mick sang it and shit like that, it was just amazing. So yeah, that's definitely one album I would definitely put.
Another album that made that's honorable mention. A band we talked about last week, the Gap Band, the Four album.
Okay.
Love that album. Early in the morning. Uh, lonely like me. You dropped a bomb on me. It's outstanding. That to me is their best album. 3 and 4, and I think it was downhill after that. But I think 4 was like that's the one that people remember because of outstanding. It was such a huge hit, and so many people sampled it. And yeah, the 3 could have made it also, but I'm putting 4 on the list.
All right. Surprisingly, this album's not in my top five, and I hit myself for it. But I'm gonna put the James Street songs.
Yes, that's one of my favorite Rick James albums.
Yeah, yeah, man. This easily could have been in the top five. It was. Everyone says it's his best album, which I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna argue, but I
Right,
say he had like maybe 2 albums I kind of put slightly above.
right,
And shit like Come Get It and Garden of Love.
hmm,
Oh, and Busting Out too. But
right,
the Street Songs was like his considered comeback because niggas weren't really fucking with Garden of Love because they said he went too R&B on that one.
hmm,
Like Super Freak Alone.
yeah,
But I love like songs like Mr. Policeman.
right,
Like when we talked about with everyone trying to do their own Master Blaster.
hmm,
I felt like Rick was the only nigga that kinda did his own twist to it, but he
right,
made it into his own and shit like that.
hmm,
Sorry, Gap Band. Um, fucking Make Love to Me, Fire and Desire. Like this whole
right,
album
yeah,
was so funky as hell and shit.
hmm,
I'm gonna turn the air off downstairs
yeah,
right quick. Not cut that.
all right. The only when Jermaine Jackson is dope singers. Well, I actually like Jermaine as I think Jermaine could have been a huge solo artist, but he wasn't consistent. But I mean, he had some joints, solo as a solo artist. I just felt like his albums wasn't consistent. Maybe he didn't want it as much as Michael and Janet did. But I think Jermaine really in the whole group now, he's the only one that really can sing. Like not Randy, not you know Marlon and them. I think Jermaine is really the one that still have a voice.
One foot sheets. I bet.
This should have been like a top 10 because we got like it's so many honorable mentions I couldn't make the list.
I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. Love that album. That's my favorite Lionel album from the '80s. Penny Lover, a huge classic. All Night Long, of course. I feel like people only know that song from Lionel in the '80s, All Night Long, because it was so pop. Um, Love Will Find a Way. Yeah, he had so many dope songs on this album, man. Like, definitely a classic album. Love the production and the songwriting.
Right.
Yeah,
Tina Marie's Naked to the World album.
dope, dope album.
Yeah, very quiet storm. Ooh la la, work it. Niggas don't talk about that album and shit. But okay.
That's it.
I mean, I would say
No,
Sean Hall.
no. I'm saying, is that all you have to say about the album, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, I gotta throw in this artist because I feel like he only had one good album. Well, he had one classic album. Let me say that. The other, his third album I have yet to listen to. I'll be sure. His first album to me is a great album.
Yes.
In effect mode, and again, like, he blew up from Night and Day and Killing Me The rendition of Roberto Flack's Killing Me Softly, and Rescue Me was a hit, and on Off on Your Own Girl. Every track on this album was banging. This is like early New Jack Swing. His second album, not so much. The third album, Sexy Verses, I still got it here. I know you told me that that's a great album. I never
Yeah.
listened to that, but after the second one, I think I was like, nah, I was just done with I'll Be Sure. But definitely his first. I played his first album a lot back then, and yeah, he definitely to me had a great first album.
He was dancing on a lot of videos for the
And he
second
danced.
one. I think.
He danced a lot. Yeah, the first album, the second album, he danced. The third album, I only remember that ballad that he did. I didn't know. I didn't remember nothing else from that third one though. But
That third one is amazing.
it's good.
You gotta
Got it.
listen to it tonight.
I gotta hear that. Yeah, cause we were supposed to do a review on that.
I was thinking about doing like an album sure month, but
Right.
I might.
I'll
I
be
might.
sure, man.
I don't know. I might
That
save that for 2022.
that's a bit ambitious, man.
You
I'll
think
be
so?
sure. Yes. I'll be sure month. Oh man.
That don't even sound catchy. I'll be sure.
Only you could pull that off, man. Only you
Of
could pull that
course,
off.
of course,
You know what I
because
mean?
I love black music and shit. So
Did you hear the second album yet? You didn't hear that one.
I heard bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
yeah,
gonna say.
yeah. It's not good. So, like, from the first song, it's not good. So yeah,
Yeah, I heard Hotel California. That's all
nah.
I'm gonna
He
say.
should have never did that rendition. Never did that. He don't have the voice for that. You know. What was
He
the
got
Eagles thinking? What was the Eagles thinking of letting him even do that song?
at that point. I think they were still broken up at that time, so they didn't give no
Oh, they
fuck.
didn't care. They were just getting a check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they didn't get back together. I
crazy.
think until like '94.
Right. Antoine said I got the Lady T album. I definitely have that one too. That's a dope one. Um, I have with the back album cover is she looks like a lonely girl playing. Oh yeah, she had like the baseball hat on
Yeah.
with the jersey. Yeah.
Yo, Mike. Jeffrey Osborne is that nigga though. From
Yes.
LTD solo wise.
Yes. We were just talking about Jeffrey Osborne.
Cause nigga thought I was simping last night.
He was playing Can You Woo Woo Woo.
I was like, nigga, I
I'm
love
like,
that fucking song.
yeah, I got like two Jeffrey albums.
Oh shit, Rakin Gomez showed you love, Ronnie.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's up.
When's the wedding? SWV or TLC? TLC.
SWB.
Because well, I've seen both of them in concert. They both were great. Both gorgeous women. Both groups. TLC was just I think where where the Supremes left off, like TLC picked up that baton and they ran with it for the '90s, and um, they were great for 3 albums. They were great, you know. They accomplished a lot in a short time. Like there's a lot of groups that on their third album they don't accomplish what TLC accomplished. So they were great for the short time that they were around.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm more.
SWV is great though. That SWV would be my top five. Like as far as like girl groups, they would be my top five. You know, cause they had a lot of hits that I like.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Far Side. They showed
Yes.
us love.
Shout out to the Far Side. Yeah, like I posted up like we did an album review of Lab Cab like 2 or 3 years ago on my channel, and the Far Side I tagged the Far Side in it, and they reposted it on the Instagram story. So shout out to them. Really appreciate that. Love that album. Lab Cab was probably my classic. Yeah. I hope they would get back together. Like we need a Slim Kid Trey and Fat Lip reunion with them. You know.
Ronnie said Rock or the Parent. Oh, you already know Rock all the fucking way.
Yeah, I watched The Rock more than the Parenthood. So
I like Parenthood, but it's like
um,
Full House. It's like Full House compared to Good Times. That's all I gotta say. No, scratch that. It's like Full House compared to Roseanne.
wow. And I like Roseanne. Roseanne was a show that I watched a lot.
Oh, I loved Roseanne too.
Yeah, those holiday episodes was hilarious.
The Halloween
Yeah, the
episodes.
Halloween episodes and the Christmas
Yeah,
episodes, they go
yeah.
all out. But Roseanne would be like decor. Yo, that's one thing about our people that we don't do enough. Like we don't celebrate the holidays like other races do. They go all out and they deck their whole chimney with tinsel and the windows and the lights and everything, and we don't do
Right.
that enough. You know,
Cause niggas,
decorating for us is like doing the tree, and then you might decorate the staircase, and that's it. But people go out on their chimney and decorate the whole damn outside of the house. We don't do that.
niggas ain't trying to do that in the cold and shit.
I would. I mean, if you really love a holiday, like you know how it was when you was little, and you knew if you were like the presents you wanted, I would go out on the roof and put some tinsel on the chimney and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like we all loved Christmas at one point. You know what I'm saying? And people still do it. Like they go all out and their electric bill is like sky high, but they make sure everybody on the block is seeing their house lit up for Christmas. And I think that's missing right now. You know. Have you heard En Vogue's 2018 single? I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I'm going on and go
I haven't
those
heard it.
97.
We need the real En Vogue back. Like both Maxine and Dawn left the group, and it hasn't been the same without them. It's just I don't picture En Vogue with just Cindy and Terry and that's it, and then like the other girl. But we need the OG members back. Favorite movie sample? What's your favorite movie sample?
Probably Busters. Give me some more.
Um, like I said, I think somebody asked this like for Halloween. The Phantasm theme song. Mob Deep sample that for God Part 3 the remix. It had like a horrorcore vibe to it. So that one was like my favorite. The Far Side running or passing me by.
Passing me by.
Passing me by. I love running, but passing me by was that's what really got me into them was like passing me by when it came out.
I hate that word song.
You don't like running?
I
Really?
like the remix more.
With the
That
Gap
you
Band
just
sample? That one.
Yeah. It can run
I love that. Hey,
away.
you know what? When I first heard that song, I thought it was Darius McCray that was doing the chorus.
That's probably what through it had like that hootie in the flow station.
Yeah,
Like,
cause he sound like I'm like, who the fuck is that that's singing that? You know, it had that, and you know, with Slim Kid Trey that was doing it, but he sounded like Darius McCray on that.
I was like, what is this boy singing?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
but I love the beat though. Like Dilla just killed it, man. That album was great.
Antoine said you like the funk group called the Blackbirds. I've heard a few Blackbird stuff. They alright.
I never heard them, the Blackbirds.
I know Paris used one of their samples.
Tribe Called Quest, check the rhyme or Wood Tour.
Check
Check
the
the rhyme.
rhyme.
Check the rhyme. You on point tip? Rick James, Cold Blooded or Ebony Eyes. Ebony Eyes for
Ebony
me.
Eyes.
Definitely love that song.
Yo, Cruz, what do you think of the Rick James Cold Blooded album though?
That's one I don't have. I don't have that one.
Unity? That's my shit. Unity? The adult with songs like Creep Walk. Yeah, they do kind of remind you of BT Express and shit. Anybody fuck with Brass Connection?
I don't know too much of these stuff though.
Uh, you
You
know what's
doing?
crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You said what? You
I
know
was
what's
saying.
crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, go ahead.
Right.
I was saying that they played one of the song where in that episode of Good Times when
mm,
James died, they played that song. Man.
right. What song they played? What song they played?
I forgot the name of the song. But it was on the second album.
Okay. You said something about good times.
Yeah, the episode when James died,
Uh huh.
and they that's the Breast Connection song. I forgot the name of that joint.
Okay. Favorite Usher sample? I don't. What's up with you and these
What's all
sample
these sample
questions, dude?
questions?
Come on, man.
Like that's why I have who sample like right in the next tab and shit. Like nigga,
What is this?
yeah, cause like to me
Oh
the
Lord.
Cold Blooded album I like, but it was just way too commercial for me. I kind of prefer the Glow album over that one. It was like nigga, we get it, Super Freak, we get it, nigga.
Oh man.
But it did have some of my favorite joints like PIMP to SIMP, Ebony Eyes, um, Tell Me What You Want to Do with Billy D. Williams, even though Billy D. Williams talks too fucking much in that joint. Niggas, these sample questions are killing me.
Favorite commercial album? Define that. That could be from anybody. What do you mean favorite commercial album? I don't understand the question.
You mean when the artist just goes full out commercial? Is that what you're trying to say? Then if that's the case, boy, where do I start? Shit.
Right? That could be anybody.
Favorite spinner samples. When Tupac sampled them for Dear Mama.
Mm. Favorite successful commercial album? What does
Oh,
that mean?
I know what you like. David Bowie's Let's Dance album. Is that what you mean? Like when motherfuckers trying to look for a hit. Is that what you're trying to
Hammer.
say?
Uh,
Um, I'm not gonna lie, Michael Jackson Thriller.
Puff Daddy, No Way Out.
Tupac's All Eyes on Me. We can go on.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Prince's Diamonds and Pearls. Let's go. Let's.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, when the hell has Prince ever danced with some kids in the video? I'm like, this nigga trying to be like,
Oh man.
I saw Asian kids. I was like, oh, this nigga's crazy. Like, nah. Illmatic was not a commercial album. Nah,
No,
it was raw, gritty.
Elmatic never went platinum, so how was it commercial?
Cutie pie.
Overrated? What's overrated, sir? Elmatic is overrated too.
I'm gonna stay on for 5 more minutes because I'm about to make some
It
chocolate.
went if it went platinum. It went platinum many years later, not when it first came out.
Probably like about 10 years ago or some
Yeah,
shit.
like decades later.
Oh, he got All Eyes on Me.
Oh, that's overrated too.
All Eyes on Me.
Favorite Black Eyed Peas album? I thought I answered this.
Elephant.
Uh, Monkey Business was dope. I like Monkey Business.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
I
that
hated
was
that.
good.
I
You
hated
didn't
that
like
album.
Monkey Business?
That was way too commercial.
But all of them was. What? Ella
I
Funk
just
was commercial.
I
What?
disagree. The first album,
Ella Funk was commercial.
Elephant was commercial, but it was the
Uh,
right balance. It still had that Black Eyed Peas signature sound. Monkey Business was just monkey business.
Monkey Business was commercial. E&D was commercial.
Oh, don't even get me started on ESD.
E&D I like. I thought that was a good album.
It was alright. It was better than Monkey Business. I'll give you
Mad
that.
Skills or Pudgy? Mad Skills.
Mad skills. Pudgy.
Shout out to Pudgy, man. Pudgy's dope.
Yeah.
You disagree with what? What you disagree with? Walking with a Panther, I don't care for that album.
Underrated. Well, minus the love song.
Underrated? You think that's underrated?
Minus the love song was actually a pretty good album and
You heard
shit.
the album got so much hate? Well,
Some of
because
oh, go ahead.
the album ain't good. That's why it got so much hate.
Some of LL's hardest joints were on that album.
You think so? Really?
Yes. Yeah. Why do you?
Compared to 14 Shots and Mama Sanaki
No,
Road?
no, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I mean compared to Big and Def and
Oh,
Radio.
oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was the perfect middle transitional album for LL. Looking back now, like
It's a,
Nitro, shit like that. Some of LL's hardest lyrical joints were on the album.
that's a middle of the road album for you?
Like when I mean middle of the road, like transitional,
Mm,
like a transitional album because it was '89 and hip hop was moving so fast,
right.
and he was looked at as like the love man in hip hop and shit. So because they screwed up the marketing. If they didn't really screw up the marketing of that album, it would have been hella successful. Like I'm that type of guy should not have been the first single. Should not have been the first
I
single.
think it should have been a single. I don't know.
Yeah, second single.
Well, what should have been the
Third.
first single?
You said what should have been the
Yeah,
first?
what should have been the first one?
Ooh, going back to Cali.
But that was a single. But that was from a movie.
Scratch that. You're right. You're right. I would have definitely picked 1-900 LL Cool J
Okay.
and shit like that. Then I would put 1-900. I'm that type of guy.
Hmm.
Then I think Jack the Ripper was either a B side of that one or not. But
Right.
and then if you wanted to pick a love song, maybe Two Different Worlds or some shit. But Big Old Butt, I didn't care for that. I didn't.
It
That
was
video alone.
Illmatic was definitely an underground album. That shit did not sell when it came out. It barely went gold, and it took many decades later for it to be platinum.
Bring this got the big old, but
You know what I'm saying? That, but we regarded it as a great album. We didn't care if it was underground or not. But that definitely was an underground album. Is is Me Against the World a commercial album to you?
no, because he was trying to make a statement with that album.
Strictly for My Niggas is underrated. Yes,
Now that's a
definitely.
well. I'm
There's
not gonna say it was a commercial, but he did try to add a few touches, like
mhm,
mainstream wise compared to Apocalypse.
right.
I felt like Don Illuminati, he was trying to go back to that Apocalypse sound, but with a death row twist to it. You
And
know,
he was pissed on that album.
had the whole hip hop game shook.
I take both albums. They both great.
Remind you, when we say commercial, we don't always mean bad or some shit like that. You know, just when the artist just tries to come back, like Stevie Wonder's "Hotter Than July"
Uh huh. I like
after the
it.
fucking that plant documentaries, Journey Through the Lives of Plants or whatever. Like even that Panther looks hard in that Walking with the Panther cover and shit.
That Panther look hungry.
You know what? I might have to do a re-review on this album next year, maybe, because this album does not get its respect sometimes compared to all the other trash that came out in '89.
Mm.
Craig G's The Kingpin album.
'89 was a good year.
Oh, '89 was a good year, but like I said, hip hop was just moving. So there's a lot of niggas trying to do different shit that year too. Life After Death was made way commercial.
Yeah, that was a commercial album.
Well, Ready to Die, it did have its balance, but Life After Death it was just like
Mm-hmm.
you knew what Big and Puff was trying. What
Yeah.
Puff was trying to do.
Right.
He just wanted to make you dance. Eric B. rocking paid in full. Ooh, that's a hard one right there.
Paid in full.
Shit, yeah, paid in full. Gotta make some tacos. Man. It was written, yeah. That was his goal to make a commercial album. Trackmaster, yeah,
Yes. Right.
he
That's
knew
more
what he was.
commercial than Illmatic.
He knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, Antoine. I personally I like the Plants album because it was definitely a different album from Stevie, but niggas wanted that songs in the key of life too.
what's your favorite rap album from '89?
Paul's Boutique. What
Okay.
about you?
Um, that's a good one. There's so many. Probably De La Soul, Thief Behind Rosin. That one.
That's my second favorite.
Kane, his second album.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a lot.
DOC. No one can do it better.
Yeah, that was a good
Um,
one.
yeah, that's like a Southern hip hop, West Coast hip hop masterpiece. Oh, Road to the Riches. Oh yeah.
Yes, definitely. There's some underrated ones I love. You know, and in this corner, I think that's underrated.
It was
Um,
okay. We- We'll talk about that.
MC Light, Eyes on This, great
her,
album.
her best album.
Heavy D, Big Time, Heavy D and the
Ooh,
Boys.
Third Base, the Cactus album.
Yes, that was the anniversary was yesterday too, I think, or the day before
Yep.
yesterday. A lot.
Public. No, no. Almost. Low profiles. Well, low profile
Yes,
album. Yes.
Doggy Style is a commercial album.
You hear Snoop's trying to. Did we talk about how Snoop was trying to bring back Death Row Records and shit?
Is he?
Yeah.
Hold up, I thought he was at the head of Def Jam.
Yeah. He said he's trying to bring back. I heard he's trying to bring back Death Row too.
What? So he's gonna be the head of the Death Row Records too?
I guess so.
Doesn't Ray J own that?
Uh, Hasbro, Ray J, whoever. Yeah.
Oh man. And they just signed they signed Benny to Def Jam.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Wow. Well, I mean, as long as he keep his sound, I don't if he
Oh,
start doing, huh?
the sound is the money. It's how they'll treat him and market
Right.
him on Def Jam.
I don't think they'll take advantage of him because he West Side is gonna make sure that he gets the best deal ever on Def
Hey
Jam.
yo.
So I don't think they're not gonna take advantage of Griselda. You know, he probably got a sweet deal, but as long as like it's not nothing that's too out there like shit. Though. I don't expect them to do a fucking song with Travis Scott or nothing, but
I don't expect Travis Scott to do any music anytime soon.
you know,
Oh man, it's a few more comments. I'm hungry as fuck. Yeah, Chill Rock G. Bro, I have to re-listen to that album, but that album was on some lyrical shit. I fuck with it.
right.
Is it? They're very expensive now though.
A lot of people like who? Why you listening to what people say? Who's
Who?
these people that's talking about Eminem screwed over Griselda? What do you think? Don't ask what we think. What do you think? I don't listen to what people say. I could care less.
Y'all funny as fuck.
A lot of people said that. Why you listen to what people say? Who cares? Just come up with your own thoughts.
Hey yo.
I don't think they got screwed over. I think Eminem try. I don't know what Eminem's trying to do. I think he just dropped the ball with them, and it was a bad deal for them. So now they know they learned their lesson.
Yeah. All right. It's dark and hell is hot. It it has a right balance. It has a right balance.
Ronnie, what was the difference? Coco with long nails or trim nails? Like,
She's still sexy as fuck.
what was the difference? Did she come up with any classics after that she trimmed her nails? I don't think they did. That's funny.
But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Got a few announcements I want to make. So this Tuesday is gonna be our Silk Sonic review, and it's also gonna be the top five worst R&B albums in the 1980s. So that's gonna be on Tuesday. Thursday is gonna be the Shaka Khan Stephanie Mills versus. Really cannot wait for that. And it's also we're gonna do the Crunk Juice 11:45. Oh, and Sunday is gonna be our trash review of War and Peace. Don
His
Mega.
his trash review. His trash review. I don't think it's trash.
Yeah, both albums. I just want to get both those albums over with.
Wow.
We be clubbing.
Um,
But yeah, this was fun. Appreciate this, boy.
all right.
Always.
I'm down.
You all have a good night. Peace.
Thanks.